Hello! Hello!
Hello.
All right, let's podcast.
Hello!
Now that we got the particulars out of the way.
We said hey.
Hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey.
Welcome to the Bite Me Podcast, episode 80. We are on a time crunch today, so let's do it.
We're talking fast.
Yeah. You can slow it down. Can you slow the speed down on some app players?
So? I don't know.
I know you can speed it up.
I don't speed mine up or slow it down, so.
I tried listening to a sped up once.
We sound like chipmunks? How fast did you go?
It's the way that
It's the cadence.
Well, it's not even the cadence. It's just the way that, at least on the podcast app for iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, which is perfectly fine, by the way.
No, it's not.
It's whatever. When it speeds it up, whatever, algorithm they use to speed it up, it just sounds choppy and weird and a lot of weird audio artifacts. It's just not good.
Yeah, I don't do it for podcasts because part of listening to podcasts is that feeling like you're with the people.
Yeah.
And, I like to think of podcasts as like I'm talking with some friends. I'm just real quiet.
You're never quiet, though.
No, not on our podcast, but every other podcast I listen to. But for school, I listen to most of my things at like 1.5 times.
Yeah. I listen to audiobooks at like 1.25.
Yeah.
Just a little faster, but not super noticeable, maybe.
Speeds it up enough.
Man, I don't listen to books on, like, recorded books.
I do every once in a while.
I can't.
Yeah.
I fall asleep.
I can only do it when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could do it at work. That'd be
Hopefully it
awesome.
wouldn't put you to sleep while you're driving.
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's not good.
No, that would be bad. Anyway, my name is Adam West.
Cliff Johnson.
The Dylan.
He's back.
He's back. Yay. How was Minneapolis? Did you get cultured?
Yeah, I saw all Minneapolis has to offer. That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard the stories.
He saw all it has to offer.
Oh, I don't think I shared one of the stories.
Oh, excellent.
Yay,
Did I share the story?
After
You shared
the
one.
podcast.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
good
good.
story.
That's not
About the order next door, go to this thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a podcast story.
No.
I mean, it is. It's just for a very, very, very different podcast.
Bite me after dark.
You can
Skinamax.
you can hit me up if you want the
real. It's good. It's
Get in our
good.
Discord.
Yeah.
We'll create a channel just for Dylan. Minneapolis regalia.
It's perfect.
All right, episode 80 of the Bite Me Podcast, where we talk about video games and stuff.
Yep.
Lots of Pokemon news this week, and Bethesda was teasing, but actually,
Yeah,
it's
it
kind
became
of
something.
Yeah, it became a thing. Microsoft has laid off support staff and replaced them with volunteers.
Ooh.
That's why.
Money.
So Steam killed the Steam Link, or iOS and the Apple killed the Steam Link?
We'll find out.
It's something like that.
Yeah. I do these notes on the fly. Come on.
Right. PUBG is suing their parents. Let's put it that way. Yeah, kind of.
Pretty much.
That would be Fortnite, or what is that, Epic?
Epic.
Yeah. Fortnite also going to let you practice, which is great.
Right.
Because I suck. They're also going to get some vehicles. We'll talk about that. PUBG, they realize they're having performance issues year and a half later, and they want to fix it.
I think there's a pill for that.
Right? What?
I think there's a pill for that.
Different performance issues.
Star Citizen, which I've always been interested in.
Same.
They've got a DLC that costs a lot of money. So we'll talk about that. Plus questions from Vinny, JoeColeslaw, Jack Irish. Hello, you're new.
He's from Australia.
Well,
Down under.
I was expecting him to be from Ireland.
Nope, Australia.
All right, that's weird.
It's just a clever name.
It is.
OptimistPrime and Mansocks also have some questions, plus Xbox games for June. Xbox Games Pass games. Ugh. Game Pass games for June.
You're doing great.
Yeah. And Games with Gold was also announced.
Oh, so is PlayStation Plus.
Oh, and we'll talk about that because we were waiting on that.
Add them to the show notes.
There we go.
Ta-da!
Da-da. But first, we start with what we're playing. And Cliff, you've got a lot. So
I do have a lot, yeah.
Why don't you go last since you're still typing?
Perfect.
Dylan?
Well, I started replaying Borderlands 2 because Cliff and I had the honor of sitting in on a, what do you call those? Presentation?
Yeah, talk.
Q&A, TED Talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, but with the writer from Borderlands 2. And I went in with zero expectations because anytime you go see a speaker
You just never know what you're going to get.
It might be interesting, it might be informative, and it might absolutely be super entertaining and awesome, and it was exactly that.
He was so funny.
Cool.
Just very personable, charismatic, very good. Like, he's a showman, like, in his presentation, like, which is kind of, I think, different from what you typically would think of a writer as. Like, he's opposite of that. Like, sure, he's probably still kind of the introverted person, but when he gets up there and talks about what he does, he's
super funny,
super interesting. But it made me like, hey, maybe I should go back and play Borderlands 2 since I haven't since 2012, I think, is
Something
when it came
like
out. I was a sophomore in college, I think, because I remember it taking over. Like, I had friends that just stopped going to class. I'm like, to play my Xbox, and I'm like, that's mine. That's my Xbox. You can't, what are you doing? Why are you still here?
That's
Why haven't
amazing.
you left?
Go home.
Like, go to your room across the hall and play on your Xbox that you don't have. Okay. But I remember it was just terrible. Like, I had such irresponsible friends. Anyway, it gave me a good excuse to like pick a game to play, and it was fun to see kind of the things he talked about, and like you saw the new layers to the game, and had kind of like this commentary on what was going on. It was kind of like playing it with the audio commentaries on or something.
It was
because
cool.
you understood like the story behind Butt Stallion or other jokes in the game, or why certain things happened, or the way
you write video games was fascinating.
Like, I would love to spend a whole podcast talking about that. Maybe we should.
That could be cool.
Guy's name is Anthony Burke.
Yeah.
He gave me the sure, when I asked him if he'd like to be on the podcast. So
Oh, wow.
maybe we will do an entire podcast talking about that.
Yeah.
Does he live here?
He does not. He lives in LA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got ways. We have ways.
We have ways.
So I'd love to talk about it more, but I think we'll save that for another time, because it was
super
interesting, and I'd love to actually just, because Cliff and I didn't even have a lot of time to talk about what we heard, and like I think we both kind of had the same feeling walking away, like,
cool.
Like, that's super
2
interesting,
hours
and
flew by.
yeah, it was awesome.
So mini-sode on game writing.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
And are you enjoying Borderlands 2 as much as you remembered it from the first go through?
Yeah, actually, probably maybe even more now, because I was actually talking to Vicky yesterday. I was like, yeah, I started replaying Borderlands 2 since we went and watched the guy, and I was like, and she was like, yeah, I loved Borderlands 2 way more than the first one. And I was the opposite, because I played Borderlands so much. By the time the second one came out, I was like, well, I kind of already did this.
Right.
And it didn't like divert from the path enough. Like, sure, the story is better, and it's better in every single way, except it's not really different in any way.
Yep. Sometimes you need that space.
Right. So, like, now 6 years removed from it, like, I can go back and, like, probably enjoy it more and appreciate it, because before I think I was kind of just like running through, like, I don't really care what the plot is, because I know it's not going to be like it doesn't matter
And the plot's
that much,
good.
and it is good, but like I didn't care that much.
That's
but
a game too that if you haven't played it, even though it is a bunch of years old, you can get the handsome edition on the Xbox and the PS4. I think
I have both of them. I think.
Yeah, I've got it on PS4,
and it looks real good. It looks real good.
Yeah.
That kind of line ray trace, or not ray tracing.
It looks beautiful. It looks
cell
like
shading?
Cell shading.
It could have
I
come out
remember.
yesterday, and you wouldn't know the difference.
It's funny too. Damn, it's funny.
It's funny.
It's good.
Cliff, what about you?
I played so many games. It's crazy.
You're making up for lost time.
I guess. So I beat Wolfenstein 2, which was awesome, and the ending is absolutely fantastic, and they need to make a third one of those, like, tomorrow, because I need to know, because the story doesn't end. I mean, like, you need to know what happens next.
Oh, crap.
It's really, really, really good. If you haven't played it yet, you actually need to, when you beat it, go all the way through the credits. It's like a Marvel movie. There are post-credit scenes, and you get, like, 60 gamer score if you just wait all the way through the credits and wait for it to reload. So, anywho, I also finally played Journey, which
I love that game.
like everyone's like, oh, dude, you need to play Journey. Like, Journey's a great game. No one's ever told me that it was just like Desert Abzu.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. It's 2 hours
maybe,
and you can I picked it up for like $5 if you like those kind
You
of.
didn't add it to your PlayStation library when it was on a PS Plus?
I don't think I had PS Plus at that time.
That's right, because it was like 3 or 4 months before you actually bought the PS4, and then you didn't even get to play it for like a couple of months because it was a Christmas gift.
super cheap.
Yeah.
So it's so worth it. Austin Wintory, my favorite person in the world that writes music, does the soundtrack. The soundtrack's amazing. The game's just...
I listen to that soundtrack on my flight.
I listen to it all the time. And I used to listen to it all the time before I even played the game. Super chill, just walking through the desert, until you get to the mountains, and then you're walking through the snow.
No, and when you get up that mountain, just the way it's like the ending of Abzu, like when the music is just swelling and know you're getting to the end of something, and it's just this. It's just
the
so
only problem
satisfying.
I had with it is you kind of get to the top, and then the last level you can kind of fly around and stuff. And I missed one of the jumps. I overshot it and fell through the level.
Oh no.
And got stuck, couldn't get out. So I had to replay like the last half hour of it.
There's worse things in life.
It wasn't bad, but so I beat Journey. I played a game called Shape of the World, which is coming out June 5th. We got a demo of it. If you've ever thought I just want the entire idea of this game is you should just be able to turn it on, put on some headphones, and just totally wander around and chill. There's no real story. There's no real even plot. You just kind of wander around and things change, and it's all proc gen. The game's proc gen, the music's proc gen.
Oh wow!
It's just crazy, beautiful colors.
I like is proc gen like an industry term, or did you just make that up?
No, it's a word.
Because that's
procedurally generated.
I got it, but I'm like, I know what you're saying. That's a new way of hearing it.
Yeah, and so it's just all natural, and you're walking through places, and trees grow, and you can collect seeds and make new trees. It's absolutely beautiful. I played I'm going to say the demo's a half hour long, and I think the full game's like 2 to 3 hours long. It's made by one of the developers of Gears of War, oddly enough. It doesn't make any sense. It's like if you looked at Gears of War and thought what would be the exact opposite of this game, that's what it is, but it's amazing. I really, really liked it's called Shape of the World, coming out soon. I played more God of War, but we don't need to talk about that. It's great.
So good.
Really enjoying it. I'm playing Ori. We don't need to talk about that because it's also great.
And you're farther into it than you've been before.
I'm probably a third of the way through the game.
Okay.
So I just barely got where you can... I got double jump, and then I got the one where you can grab onto a projectile and shoot yourself, which is really cool, but man, that's weird.
So so that happens. Have you gone through the tree where the tree is flooding
I'm in the tree now.
Okay, at the very end of that sequence, this is the sequence where something's being flooded and you're in the tree and you have to get through the top, and that's when you use that a lot.
Yeah.
And it probably took me a while to get through that just because it's so it's such a different mechanic.
Yeah, it is a suit, and I think the thing is because it doesn't give you a lot of time to choose which direction you go. You end up flinging yourself completely the wrong way.
Just gotta watch.
And sometimes you don't want to fling yourself; you want to fling the bullet. And
And that at the end of that, once you get up out of the top of that tree, that's where one of my favorite cutscenes. At least the first cutscene in the game that made me go, "What?"
It's such a beautiful game. Good. The music is so gorgeous.
I can't wait for the next one.
100%. I wanted to get this. This is one of those I'm gonna play this game eventually. I just need to hit the right time, and now is the right time. So I also played State of Decay 2, which is a Game Pass game that came out, I'm going to say...
May 22nd.
May 22nd, so...
Because I just downloaded it last night and installed it because I'm going to play with Miles.
Yeah, so
tonight.
I played it all weekend. Me and my brother my brother's put probably 20 hours into it, and I've put 8. It's kind of one of those weird multiplayer games where you don't play. It's not really multiplayer. It's you hop into a friend's single player game and help them out. The game actually constantly is telling you that too. Hey, remember, you're here just to help your buddy stay alive, and you get a little bit of stuff when you go back to your game. But I've not played any of the single player.
Gotcha.
Past the first 45 minutes you have to play. It's such a weird game because I could tell you right now 20 things that are horrifyingly broken about it.
Okay.
It's janky. I mean, crazy janky. The flashlight is so weird, and the other people you play the game with, the animation's broken and
so
weird.
I was going to ask, based on what I saw in the trailer and some gameplay videos, it doesn't look like a current gen game.
No,
at least from what I've seen.
It looks fine.
Okay.
It's not unattractive, but
just animation wise and
it's so
stuff,
weird. You'll be crouching, and your animation's this beautiful smooth thing, and the guy next to you is glitchy. It's so weird. when you collect rucksacks, which are these big like duffel bags full of supplies, and when you put one on, you change. But like when the person with you puts one on, it doesn't give any indication that they have a rucksack on. You don't see any of that stuff. Like the only real things you see them is killing zombies.
Oh, okay.
You're creating this like base community, like where all the survivors live, but you can't like tell them to do anything. They're just like squatters sleeping on your couch, but they complain constantly, like, "Dude, we need some more food. Could really use some more medicine here. Hey, the zombies are attacking. Can you come back and help us fight off the zombies?" You're like, "Dude, I'm out getting food because you needed food
because you're crashing on my couch."
Yeah, exactly. And so like all of that is like. And then also they're called enclaves of other places like, "Hey, dude, we could really use some help over here. There's a bunch of zombies. Could you kill that zombie heart thing? That'd be great." And so it's just like this constant barrage of information, but it's so much fun.
Okay.
It's you just go out and you kill zombies and you collect stuff and you take it back to your house and you make better stuff, and it's got a great gameplay loop. I'm absolutely 200% shocked that like all the people, maybe they got distracted by Battlefield V or 5 or whatever they're calling it. Like had that big kerfluffle over them putting, I don't know, women in World War II, I guess. I'm shocked that this game hasn't had the same one, because like all of your main characters are very like all minorities. There's a gay couple. There's like no one seems white in the game. I'm like I don't understand why that mob of people that hate things that aren't like white dudes haven't come out and just smashed all over this game. But apparently maybe they don't have Xboxes. Maybe they're
maybe not.
I don't know, but it's real cool. So it's free, I guess.
If you have Game Pass,
like
free,
give it a try.
it's $50, and it's $50, so it's
it's $30, I think.
Oh, I thought I saw 50.
I think it's 30 or 35.
Either way,
Vinny told me this morning. I thought it was 30.
Yeah,
so.
Either way, it's cheaper than your typical.
If you have one friend that plays it, it's worth it. And you can play up to 4-player co-op.
Players.
So give it a go.
Cool. I'll check that out tonight.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I was in Chicago this past weekend, so I didn't play a whole lot, but I did play on the plane. And before we left on Monday, I picked a game up on the eShop because it was $10, and it's called Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon, which is the spinoff of that Kickstarter game Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night, which is from one of the original developers or something.
It's a like very Castlevania-looking game, right?
Yeah, one of the writers or programmers or developers, whatever, from Castlevania.
Really?
Did his own Kickstarter. And that's what this is.
Oh, very cool.
So that's why it basically is Castlevania. It's kind of, I'm guessing, most like Castlevania 3.
Sure.
At least what I'm playing. So Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon is the 8-bit spin-off that was like, what are those called? An extend on a Kickstarter?
Like the
stretch goal.
Stretch goals.
Yeah, it's a stretch goal. So they got that, and it came out on just a few days ago, and it's great. It's a super, super retro 8-bit. I mean, it plays like an 8-bit game.
That's
cool. Some of the animation is a little nicer, obviously, because of stuff, but it's
because
great.
You have memory and things like that.
Right. But it looks and plays just like a classic Nintendo.
How much is it?
Castlevania game. $10.
Oh, it's worth it.
Yeah, totally worth it. So that's fun, and I like that a lot. What else did I play? I played some more Mario Odyssey, and when I jumped back into that, I was all, what am I doing?
Where am I?
I don't understand. Although I did find like 3 or 4 power moons in this one place that...
Nice.
I was like,
every time I hop back into that
too?
game, I'm like, what's happening? Why am I wearing a weird hat? It's a weird game.
Yeah, I've not... But
what's with the sombrero?
I don't know. I don't have that yet.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird game.
But I think that's really all I kind of played.
That's good.
Is that all I played? Yeah, and I downloaded State of Decay 2 last night, so I'll play that tonight.
Like I said, that game's... If you have Game Pass, try it out.
Cool. Yeah, and if you've got a Switch and you like that retro game thing, which most everybody does, check out Bloodstained because it's real cool.
Nice.
The music is real good. And what's really cool is you collect other characters throughout the game, and I think you've got a total of 4. You can switch them on the fly.
Oh, very
with your
cool.
trigger button in the middle. Like if you're like, oh, I missed that because I should probably have this character. You don't have to.
That's cool.
Restart the level. You can just switch right on the fly. And once they die during that current run, you can't bring that character back until you've gone through all your characters.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Then you have to restart the level.
Interesting.
And there's also an easy mode. There's the retro mode, which is more of a classic. Like you've got a health bar, you've got 3 lives. Things like that. Then they've got the easy mode, which you still have your health, but you've got unlimited lives. You don't have to do this stuff. And
you had me at easy mode.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So it's good.
Very cool.
So there's that. I'll remind you, if you're on iTunes or whatever listening to us, like us, rate us, review us. We love that. It helps people find us, and it helps us find places to send free stuff to. Yeah.
Good.
So do that. All right, let's get into it. What is it?
What? News!
Oh, that was deeper than usual.
We did do it ourselves last week. It didn't really work.
It was okay.
No one complained, though, so... Yeah.
I would have phoned in.
Oh, we should have called you. What was I thinking?
We just need to. What I need to do is I need to go back through all of our old shows and just pull all your different news segments.
Can we just do like a news supercut?
News!
Yes.
I want a news supercut and I want a Vinny supercut.
We'll do that. All right, let's get into it. Nintendo has finally announced a Pokemon game for Switch. Actually, not one, not two. There's three.
Three.
Yeah. So let's talk about this first one. It's called Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and also Let's Go Eevee.
I don't know what an Eevee is, but I want to pet one.
You don't know what an Eevee is?
I don't really know much about
Eevee
Pokemon.
was this cool Pokemon that had 3 different evolutions depending on which elemental stone you wanted to use on it. So it could turn into the water Eevee, which was Vaporeon, or the flaming one with the Firestone, and then that was Flareon, and then there was Jolteon if you wanted the lightning version. So
They're real cool.
It was a neat.
I knew that.
Neat.
Also nerd. God, I'm surrounded by nerds. Oof.
I really like it. Yeah, Eevee. And Eevee is the one where, like, when you were playing Pokemon Go, like, Eevees were everywhere. They were everywhere. And I'm like, why do I have all these things? And then Kevin told me, he's like, oh, depending on, you know, this, that, and the other, it could turn into the Volteon.
That's cool.
Jolteon,
and then there was more
Flareon.
added later, so
Yeah.
there actually is more. I don't know.
I've got I need to-
Umbreon and
Yeah. There's more. But anyway, so...
All I know is I want like 3 of these little furry critters like to live at my house. I think they'd be awesome.
And then they could grow up into 3 different elemental
No, I just want them to
versions.
stay all cute and furry.
So this is really cool. I actually watched the trailer for it this morning. It's kind of like...
I don't get it.
It's almost like Pokemon Go, but just in what's the town in the Kanto region?
But it's also it has some ties to Pokemon Yellow, right?
Sure.
I was trying to understand it. I'm gonna have to read this.
Yeah,
like
it's
10 more
based
times.
on Pokemon Yellow for the Game Boy, but heavily influenced by Pokemon Go.
Yeah, and what's cool is like you can transfer back and forth between Pokemon Go on your phone.
Oh, really?
And the Pokemon you catch in Pokemon Let's Go on the Switch. So
Oh,
you
that's
can,
cool.
Yeah, you can go
That's-
back and forth and send things.
Yeah, I was trying to understand that, and I just didn't.
I assume this is
It's
going to be one of those things that
confusing.
there's just going to be more information about it at E3,
Yeah.
which I don't really like. I don't. So this and the Bethesda Fallout announcement, I don't understand at all why they're announcing all this stuff. Literally, what
2 weeks?
2 weeks
Yeah.
before? It's not. I don't even think it's 2 weeks away before E3.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks and 4 days last
Yeah.
week.
So I mean, the first day of
E3 is going to be on June
is 9
9th.
days from now.
Yeah, it's on the 9th.
Like, I don't understand why there's
that
all these
weekend,
games coming out,
anyway.
but I'm super excited about this. I've never played a Pokemon game ever.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun.
And I kind of wanted one, and so I was kind of waiting. I've thought about, because I have Game Boys and that kind of stuff. I've thought about picking up, the ones that came out last year.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But I thought I'd just wait. We'll get it on the Switch. I'm excited.
So yeah, this is very much a tie-in to Pokemon Go.
That's cool.
So you
I
can
liked
go back
Pokemon
and forth,
Go. It
and
was
I
all
like
right.
that you can use the Pokeball controller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with this,
Very cool.
because you can throw it like a regular Pokeball. So that's kind of cool. Also, what people were expecting this to be, this Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, what they were expecting was this to be like a mainline, what's that called?
Silver or
They were expecting it to
Moon
be
or
like
whatever.
a new,
Yeah.
straight up new Pokemon game.
Yeah.
But along with this announcement came the announcement that a new Pokemon game that falls in line with the actual series.
And that's coming
is
up for
coming
the
up
3DS next year, right?
either 3DS or I thought it was 3DS and Switch.
Yeah, whatever.
Or just Switch. Either way, that's coming up first half of next year.
Very cool.
So
this game
there's
comes
that.
out on my birthday.
Oh, look at that.
I know.
And then the third announcement it wasn't really an announcement. It just showed up on the eShop today. A new free-to-start Pokemon game for Switch.
Yeah, it's called
Pokemon Quest.
And it's blocky, and it's super cute, and I love...
Yeah, I kind of like the aesthetic of it.
Right?
But I don't understand it.
I don't either. but that's okay.
Maybe I'll have to download it for free.
Yeah, and it's a free to start, which is effectively, I think, kind of how like Final Fantasy 15 on mobile was, where you get the first episode for free, and then you can pay. I was reading yesterday, and some people said that one of the Pikmin games was this way too, where you got it for free and you could play up to something, and then you drop like $30 and you get the free game, the full game. So, but it's nice that you can. I mean, it's nice that first of all they announced it yesterday and it's out.
Yeah, they're like, here you go.
But you can also give it a try and see what you think. So
yeah, and it takes place on a new region of Tumblecube Island. Is that a place?
It is now.
Evidently.
And everything's all cubey.
Very
kind of like rounded
looking.
Minecrafty characters, but
an alternate blocky dimension.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. So in this game, you find Pokemon, you become their friends, you give them cookies, treats, kind of like other Pokemon games in the past where you give them stuff to make them like you, and then you can catch them more easily. So yeah, that's out now, and it's free to start. I'm curious to know at what point it's like, all right, you're done playing for free. Give us your money.
Exactly right.
So
I'll start it for free, and we'll see how it goes.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
All right, there's that. Bethesda was teasing something, and it turns out it's a new Fallout game.
Yeah, so like yesterday...
Is it
maybe
new?
I don't. No one knows yet. So I mean, it is a new Fallout game. What no one's sure of yet is, does that mean it's like a game in line with Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas? Is it going to be part of the Fallout base building game?
Fallout Shelter?
Fallout Shelter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one's really quite sure, just that it's called Fallout 76.
Right, and the 76 refers to the vault in which the game is either taking place completely or where you really start or where you came from. Either way, you've got a big 76, and I just think of like the 76 gas stations.
Right, and well, even the logo looks kind of that way. So they started teasing yesterday. They actually had a Twitch feed that had like 150,000 people just watching a logo.
How do you tease? That's not really a tease. That's just like that's an announcement saying, hey, tomorrow.
But it lasted for 24 hours, so
why not 76 hours?
Right?
That would be a
missed opportunity.
Man.
Yeah.
Dumb.
So it's being reported that it's an online game of some sort. So who knows? I mean, I mean, on the flip side, if they could make a co-op Fallout game, I would.
None of the Fallout games co-op? Really?
No, they're all single player.
I've never played enough.
And I would love to play Fallout like you can Borderlands with multiple
Kotaku
people.
Reported that Fallout 76 will be an online game of some sort.
Yep. Yeah. So who knows?
Thank you, Kotaku.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
I don't think that means
reporting.
anything.
It means absolutely nothing. But I'm sure this is one we'll hear more of.
The new Pokemon game is an online game
of some sort. I'm sure we'll hear more about this.
Most games are
an online game of some sort.
Like they have leaderboards on the line.
What I think is interesting, though, is that they chose to make a new Fallout game before a new Skyrim game. The last Fallout game came out relatively recent ago.
That was 2014?
Yeah, or 20...
Because we got our PS4 in 2014.
Yeah.
And it was out.
Yeah, 20... Yeah, so it's been a couple... No, it hasn't been 4 years since Fallout 4, has it?
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going
positive.
But I mean, it's like 6 or 7 years since
Are we putting
Skyrim.
you to sleep?
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
No, 2015, November 10th.
Really?
I'm really hungry.
Yeah, it came out at the same time as Drink Your Soylent.
It's liquid. It has calories, but it's not enough.
Oh, God. Anyway, so yeah, there's a new Fallout game.
Super excited. I love Fallout.
We'll have to wait a couple of weeks to find out exactly what that's all about.
And Bethesda has their own E3 show, so should be good.
Sweet. Next, Microsoft has laid off a team of Xbox support staff, and they've replaced them with volunteers.
This is really crappy. Like, I'm a huge Microsoft booster.
Mean?
Like, I always have been. So there's a Twitter account that's Xbox support, and it was staffed by essentially consultants or contractors, but they worked in Microsoft's office, presumably here, I would guess.
Yeah.
And they answer, they staff this Twitter account and help people through these problems, and you could direct message them and get help with Xbox stuff. And so recently they've really been enhancing their Xbox Ambassador program, which is a kind of volunteer program that lets people answer questions that other people ask in exchange for like points that you can then redeem to get other stuff.
Okay. which is cool. But not when you lay
except that
people
they had,
off.
except they had
you got
all
12
these
people now that are jobless.
Yeah, they had all these contractors training these Xbox ambassadors, and like were really like thumping up how much they train them, and then they laid all of them off. And
I wonder
have you ever had to train your replacement
I have not.
for a job? I've had to train my replacement twice. One time I didn't know anything about it. The other time was because I'd quit and I was moving on. So that was fine.
I've probably done that. I've trained people that I've quit and then they've taken
I've trained my replacement one time in particular. I was like, oh, sure, this new guy seems really great. Here's how you do all the stuff.
Man, he might be smarter than me.
Adam. Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, so this is, and like a lot of people are saying, like, oh, wow, it's strange. A bunch of contractors didn't get their contract renewed. And that is one aspect of it. But for Xbox 2, and I mean, it is, I'm going to say only 12 people, but if you've ever been laid off from a job, you know how crappy that is.
Yeah.
So it's just.
So multiply that by 12.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. And they're saying that support isn't as good now either, because instead of having people trained to do this, you're having volunteers that may be there, may not be. People have gone in and say they've tried to get support, and there's no one there to answer the questions because they're volunteers. So,
right.
That's dumb.
So, it's not great.
Well, let's hope that this is a step in a different direction. Maybe benefit of the doubt, they're going to do something different, and this is a
could be
in between phase. Who knows?
Because have we ever seen Microsoft? I mean, they always seem so nice. Like, we want to play with everybody, and we do this, and look how great this is, and blah, 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 blah. I can't remember really anything in recent memory, anyway, where Microsoft's been like, bottom line, fire them.
I don't know. I mean...
And then hire volunteers. Like, just...
The firing and hiring volunteers is
that's like, the part that's stuck.
Big companies lay off people all the time.
That's fine. That happens.
But yeah, like... Not like this. This is kind of terrible.
Kind of odd.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Microsoft. All right. Up next, the Steam Link for iOS and Android was a thing. They brought it out. It was beta on Android, and then they put it out. It's fine. It's good. It's working great. When they put it to Apple and the App Store, Apple was like, no, because of reasons.
Business conflicts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we talked about this, I'm going to say 2 weeks ago?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, and just Apple's like, no. And I mean, I kind of go both ways. I'm a big, I'm not an Apple fanboy, really, because I hate that word, but also because, I mean, I have a bunch of Apple stuff and I like it. Mm-hmm. And I like that they have a walled garden that keeps stuff out.
Keeps
bad stuff out.
Right.
Like, I love the fact that if you make it in the App Store, odds are good you don't have spyware, you don't have any of that crap that tends to live on the Android store. But, like, I hate that I can't use Waze on my CarPlay.
You can't?
No. I hate you have to use Apple Maps. Yeah. I hate that you can't use, this on your iPad for no real. I mean, what's their conflict? What's
I don't
the
think
business
there really is a
conflict
other than like now they don't need to buy a different device. They can use their Apple device.
Now they don't have to play you don't have to play your games.
Right. They don't have to introduce a Windows device in their home because now they have their Apple device. That's like, it seems like it's actually the opposite, because if it doesn't work, now I have to go get a different device. It's not Apple.
My guess is actually what it is if you're talking about business conflicts, my guess is that the way Apple looks at it is if you're playing your Steam games on your iPad, then you're not playing your App Store games on your iPad.
Right.
And because it's free, Apple's not getting a cut of it.
Yeah.
So why don't they just charge 99 cents for it?
Well, my guess is the way they look at it is you're not only not buying one thing, you're not buying multiple things. So,
but with like the increasing number of like Mac-based games on the Steam store, and like Steam's pretty good on Mac now. Like,
but they're just not getting the revenue,
right?
So I don't know. I think it's dumb. I should have put this in Troll Corner.
Yeah, kind of.
I should put Microsoft in Troll Corner too.
Right. So do you think that?
Shame on you.
Do you think that there's any way for them to get through these guidelines?
I don't think so. They put it through once. They put it through once and actually went live for a minute. And then they killed it. Yeah, I know, right? Although I think Apple can actually pull stuff off your device, honestly. So
I don't like that.
They put U2 on my device. So.
I mean, they put U2 on it. Yeah. No, I mean, most places, like Kindle can do that too. So, because you don't actually own the things on your device, you essentially lease them or rent them or license them. So,
bunch of hullabaloo.
Yeah, it's kind of lame, but no. And so they did hey guys, there's been some mistake. And they're like, no, that was on purpose. So I don't think so.
So, and now, are there other ways to get your games on there?
I don't think so. You can buy an Android device, I guess.
I mean, that's the thing. I've got like 4 Android phones just sitting
Which
there.
makes me wonder if I could do it on my Kindle, because it doesn't, like, if I could, like, sideload the App Store.
I don't think a Kindle is even beefy enough.
Oh, yeah. I've got a pretty beefy Kindle.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've got the basic, like,
I have
$60 Kindle with the stuff.
They're pretty beefy, though. Like, they can play a lot of games. I've played a lot of games on mine.
I feel like it's janky.
I have the 8-inch one.
Like, seriously.
He's
Yeah,
got
that's
the
the one I
HD8.
But I mean, the thing is all the processing.
That's no $60 Kindle.
All of
Okay, mine was
$70
90. Sorry,
all the processing that's happening on
Right.
your PC. It's like watching a video on it theoretically.
Yeah.
Interesting. Duh.
You're streaming,
So,
bro.
yeah,
Do you
so
even
instead
stream,
of just
bro?
going downstairs and playing on my glorious 28-inch HD monitor, I'm going to stream it to my... Yeah.
I still don't know when I would ever do this, but
No.
it's
Right.
fine.
All right, PUBG is finally
We got so much PUBG
Right.
Fortnite news
suing Fortnite for copyright infringement in Korea.
in Korea.
What?
Because they only infringed in Korea. It's nothing like it is here.
Because there's a law in Korea?
Well, there's a lot of different theories. One is Fortnite's trying to move into the Asian market now, and PUBG's kind of owned that. And so that's one thing.
Right.
The other theory is this has nothing to do with actually filing a lawsuit or winning a lawsuit. It's about
Notoriety, getting
free advertising for paying some lawyers to screw around for a couple.
any publicity is good publicity.
Or maybe even just getting Epic to say, like, okay, fine, copyright infringement, here's $500,000 or $10 million. I mean,
now go fix your game that you finally admit is broken a year and a half later.
And that was kind of the other point is, and we'll talk about that in a second. Well, we can talk. Why don't we just talk about that
let's
now?
just talk about it now.
So this lawsuit thing's dumb, but they've been talking about it for 5 months now, 6 months now.
Do they want to lose a legal battle?
The thing is, they probably.
I don't think there's any way to win or lose this because it's how do you sue somebody for
what they're saying is
like a type
what they're
of
saying is it's not
genre.
It's not the genre thing really. It's that we licensed this engine from Epic.
Right.
They knew what we were doing. They knew about it long before anyone in the public did, and they copied very specific things from this game. Not the battle royale mode specifically, but how your inventory works, how things are laid out, how things like UI elements almost, how these things work. And so, not being super familiar with how copyright law works in Korea, oddly enough, like maybe that's a legit thing.
Weird to take it to Korea.
But maybe, like I said, maybe it's just hey, we're going to settle for $5 million. And Fortnite goes like, who cares? We found that in our couch cushions yesterday.
But that's what I'd say. It's like David and Goliath in the courtroom.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you... Like, you're just going to get squashed.
just throw money at the net.
maybe
They
not,
want to
but
squash
maybe
you.
not in Korea.
I don't know.
I mean, and PUBG makes a ton of money too, and they're owned by Blue Hole, who makes a bunch of other stuff. So it may not be a David and Goliath thing. It may be a weird fighting of two. I don't know. Who knows?
I like PUBG less now, I think.
Yeah, well, and
I mean,
I think the other side of this though is like PUBG came out yesterday and was like, hey, we know we've got some problems. Like the game runs kind of crappy.
no.
And we got some problems with there not being enough servers, and we've got this cheater problem, and we haven't fixed any of them.
Like, just fix your game, and then, like, I don't know.
Which makes me wonder, though, is it a resources thing? Like, why haven't they just fixed their game? Is it a resources thing? Is it the game was made poorly or badly or not the right way in the first place, and so they're having a hard time going from that unoptimized game to an optimized game? Do they not have the right people? Do they just not have enough people?
Or are they trying to fix? Is PUBG trying to fix their game on this side, but on the other side they see Fortnite gaining all these people and they're just hemorrhaging these players? So let's try and stop the hemorrhage by suing these guys.
No, let's hemorrhage all the players so we have less players to accommodate, fix the game, and get more players. Like, come on.
I really wonder if this lawsuit ever would have happened if Fortnite had come. I think the thing is we saw Fortnite come in and we're like, Fortnite, duh, that's lame.
I tried it and I was like, this game's stupid.
Yeah, and I tried it. I'm like, this game's okay. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Fortnite just like.
Oh, they made a good playable game? Okay, I'll play that.
Right out of the gate, they made a good playable game.
But not immediately. Like, we looked at it, or no, it was great immediately.
Yeah.
But, like, the players didn't go for, like, a month.
Right, it was
maybe
it was a learning curve.
Yeah.
Like, this is a completely new game, and now like I go back and play PUBG. I'm like, why can't I build a wall between this a-hole that's shooting me? I'm gonna go play
Because
Fortnite.
there's actually a wall that's already there. You just can't see it. PUBG's game
It hasn't loaded in yet.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Everything looks like melty wax.
And I wonder though if that had never happened, if either they had the same player base or like, hey, they're both doing well, if this lawsuit ever would have happened.
Is PUBG still like doing well?
I think they're doing.
I feel like they're
well enough.
doing fine.
I haven't heard any of those like sales announcements lately though. Like you've been hearing a lot more bad stuff and not like, hey, we passed 30 million, 35 million, 40 million, 45 million.
Well,
all
the
you
last
hear,
thing I want to hear is them suing somebody for.
Yeah. All you're hearing these days is
we know it's broken. We're trying to fix it.
We know it's broken. Oh my God, we banned 250,000 cheaters last month.
Right.
Wow.
You know,
They're just in over their head. I think they cannot wrangle all the balls.
And all you hear from Fortnite is like they made $50 million from their mobile game last month.
And Drake played it.
And Drake played it.
Like, so it's like, okay, like, yeah.
But the number of streamers even that have jumped off, like Dr. Disrespect plays, although Dr. Disrespect, I don't know the background on this, and I hate the guy anyway, but whatever, like was making a big deal that if Fortnite didn't put him in the game in the next 2 weeks, he was going to stop playing it or something dumb. I don't have details. I read it very passingly, and I'm like, oh, he's an idiot, and then moved on.
Why do you think you can be in the game?
I don't know. He's such a...
Thanos can be in the game. That's it.
Yeah, right? Because
Thanos.
Thanos is Thanos.
Like...
Dude,
they're getting a Marvel partnership.
When Thanos
or Dr. Disrespect.
Then there's PUBG.
When Thanos snapped, Dr. Disrespect's mullet should have died.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, there is an entire list of things that they're changing and working on for PUBG.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep, there's a list here. So lots of changes coming.
In
and
2023?
Something like that?
I think 2023 is when PUBG might...
Whatever.
I don't know.
And they're also still working on their upcoming 4x4 kilometer map.
Yeah, and I don't want to crap on PUBG. Like, it's a great game.
It's a
fun game. I enjoy watching people play it, and I don't have a lot of performance problems with it. It runs okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like if you played checkers, but like some of the spaces were missing, and your pieces weren't all the same, and I don't know. Like.
Yeah.
All right, so there is that. In other Fortnite news, we're getting a practice mode.
Well, I don't want to say exactly practice mode, but the idea is I guess single player or a squad will load in to the game, and if you die, you just respawn.
Okay.
So you won't die immediately, and so it'll give you that opportunity to actually play around with some of the weapons, but all the drops will come in too. So you'll get the ability to get that cool rocket launcher and
see what it does
and how it shoots and build different things. And actually, I mean, that's the big thing for me is I want to practice building, but it's so hard to practice building
when you're getting shot
at. And so this will, it's their sell of it is battle and build to your heart's content with an extended period of time to roam around the map as well as increased resource generation. All treasure chests and ammo crates will be spawned. Try dropping in different spots and scope out the loot. Friendly fire's on, so you can scrimmage with your squad, up to 4 friends per match, but fear not, you'll respawn immediately. So I think that is awesome.
So it's and all the loot boxes spawn, so you actually can go find where all of them spawn.
Yep.
In the case that they do spawn.
Yeah. So this is exactly what we've talked about a bunch of times. I want to be able to load in one of these games and practice with different guns and practice shooting them at different distances, and I think that's awesome.
It's kind of cool too. They're also evaluating the idea of adding that 50v50 mode permanently.
Yeah, which is weird. That 50v50 mode I don't get, but apparently people like it.
People like it.
Yeah.
And they're changing a lot of basic quality of life kind of things too, including the Victory Royale screen. It's going to be a bit more celebratory. I've never won, so I don't know what that's like.
It is pretty underwhelming. It's I won and my guy's just running.
No,
cool. At least I can dance now.
Oh,
I guess
nice.
That's cool.
They're also going to investigate some ways to show some in-world markers to let you navigate around the island a bit easier. Progress notifications are coming up. Spectator interface is going to be improved, and some more tweaks as well for the replay functionality.
Yeah, that's good. It's
lots
good,
of stuff. I think that's the difference between Fortnite and PUBG is that PUBG is still working on getting their game to actually work. Fortnite had their game working, and now they can add all these little quality of life things. It's all little upgrades.
It's all.
And what else are they adding, Adam?
Oh, they're also adding vehicles. Finally.
I'm going to say vehicles, air quotes, because the first vehicle is
shopping cart.
Shopping cart. I love that
That's
so
amazing.
much.
How do you drive a shopping cart though without another person?
Roll into
I've
battle
done it.
alone or with a buddy.
I've done it.
You've been on the have you done the shopping cart?
They have not announced.
We always had a shopping cart around.
Oh, you're talking like in real
IRL, baby.
IRL, baby.
Apparently the shopping cart will be able to hold 2 people at once, too. I'm absolutely excited to see how this works.
I've tried putting 2 people in a shopping cart
Does not
IRL,
work.
and it doesn't work.
I got kicked out of a shopping cart at Fred Meyer in Ellensburg.
Yeah, you were also 22.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
no,
right.
I was 19.
That makes it
probably.
better.
Makes it
was freshman
so
year.
much better.
I sat in the kiddie seat and put my legs out, but I kind of got stuck. And the lady was like, "You need to get out of that." And I was like,
I'm stuck.
Okay. And then I tried to get out, and she's like, "Come on, hurry up!" And I'm like, "I'm stuck. I'm working on it. You're looking at me working on it. Can you just leave me alone?"
Oh my
I
God.
understand that I probably shouldn't be sitting here, but I did it.
And now it's done. There's
It's
nothing
done.
else we can do.
I've already
Just let
done
me
the
get
thing.
out. My legs are stuck because they're barely big enough.
Oh gosh.
They're small enough to get to this hole.
So as of right now, Epic hasn't said exactly when things are happening, but usually when they
pretty
tease
fast.
stuff in the upcoming soon stuff, the new updates, it shows up pretty soon. So
I'm
they're
very excited about shopping
possibly
carts.
seeing it maybe in this week's update.
Maybe. Be good.
Maybe.
I'm
shopping.
so curious how that works.
All right, let's wrap up our news with some info about the Star Citizen DLC pack.
So Star Citizen, if you don't know, is like this massive online.
It's almost like I think a lot of people were saying. I want to say that people kind of compared No Man's Sky to it, or vice versa, in a way.
And I believe Star Citizen's the one that's actually not out yet, right?
Sure.
I want to say it's the one that's in development right now. Yeah, it's the upcoming massively multiplayer one. It's the one that keeps getting like huge Kickstarters. They raised like $35 million. What's his name? Mark Hamill's involved in it some way doing voices. It's supposed to be this just massive space thing. And lots of people are very excited about it, and they keep showing things, and the things look amazing. But until the game actually comes out, no one knows anything. Anyway, the good news is that you're going to be able to, I guess, is if you want like every single ship in the game and you want a bunch of extra stuff and skins and equipment and fuel and land and other stuff, it can all be yours for the low price of only $27,000. Wow. I hope you can like finance that or something.
I mean,
What?
Yes, you heard me right. $27,000.
you have to spend $1,000 just to view the content in the DLC.
What?
So again, I think this is all part of the Kickstarter part of it, like where they're trying to raise money for it. So it's like, hey, if you want to give us $27,000 when this game comes out, we're going to give you everything, and it's probably going to keep on giving you all the things that they add to the game later. So I honestly,
What?
when the game actually comes out, if you want to purchase all the DLC, I can't imagine it's going to have a $27,000 price
It'll be like
tag.
$15.
No, I think the DLC will still be $27,000. The game, I think, is $60,000. I mean, I'm very intrigued in this.
No.
I think it's going to be kind of like that EVE Online style deal, but wow.
I mean, it's like when you go to the App Store and you see the in-app purchases, and you can scroll down and see what the different price points are and whatever. And there's always, without fail, there's a $99 one or a $120 one for
That's
an app
not
on your phone.
$27,000.
It's not, but it's still ridiculous. I'm not going to pay $150 for some DLC for my phone.
Every time you hear about one of those ridiculous DLCs coming out, somebody buys. I guarantee you, some nerd somewhere's probably already bought this. Yeah.
I have one word for you: $27,000.
There are jobs where I didn't make that in a year.
Oh, what? I don't think I currently make that. Yeah. So if you're made of money, go buy it.
What?
Buy yourself some spaceships. You get like 127 spaceships, though.
Again, this is like, I'm cool if you call it like fund our game and we'll give you stuff. Please give us 27,000, but don't call it DLC.
But it is DLC.
No, it's not.
It is DLC.
I mean,
no,
is it though?
No, it's a couple paychecks for people who aren't getting paid. That's what it is.
A couple paychecks?
Yeah, a couple, at least.
Few. Couples?
That's more than a couple. That's a lot of
It's a
freaking
month
paychecks.
more than a couple.
That's
What?
a lot.
Anyway, it's weird. I don't get it, but hey,
People are buying. I guarantee people
you.
are buying it.
guaranteed.
Good job. Go you.
No.
All right, there's all your news. News is done.
All the news that's fit to chat about.
Well, I don't know if that was fit to chat about, but we did.
It's good.
All right, let's get into some questions. We got one from JoeColeslaw, Jack Irish from Australia, OptimistPrime and Mansocks. But first, we always start with this guy.
Hey, yo, Vinny.
You look like you were...
What's going on?
We didn't even try last month or
You're
last
just
week.
staring into space doing that. Are you
Hey,
like...
yo.
He's still contemplating Star
channeling?
Citizen.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you looking at?
So that would be Vinny.
Yep.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
No one else around here.
Vinny
talking to me?
wants to know, what are your personal predictions for E3 this year? Any new IPs that are going to be announced? Any surprises may be announced? What do you think? What are you
I think
expecting?
that like the entire Microsoft show is going to be surprises because I don't have any idea what could be announced. They've literally brought out
Nothing.
well, they've brought out almost everything that they talked about last month or last
Right.
year. So, like the only thing that's left is that I always forget the name of it. The game that that one
game with the games.
Yeah, that one game with the guy that was supposed to come out like 6 months ago and it looked like crap. It looked
Crackdown 3.
Crackdown 3, yeah. It looked like
I don't
garbage.
know how I got that from the game with the guy.
Yeah, whatever. It looked like garbage last
It
year at
wasn't
E3.
wrong.
Terry Crews is the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Crackdown 3 is the only thing that they've talked about for the last year.
Yeah, that
that's
hasn't
just
come
not
out.
anywhere.
So I literally don't know what Microsoft's going to be. So that is going to be hopefully full of surprises. I mean, I guess Ori hasn't come
Yeah,
out, so I would love to see more Ori
some
since
more
that
definite
was
news on Ori.
Since that was just like a dude playing piano last year.
Excited.
Yeah,
Beautiful piano.
I'm interested to see more about Death Stranding, even though I think that game's maybe just performance art and isn't actually a game.
That could be our troll corner in 3 months.
I was kind of hoping that it would be that there would be a Bethesda announcement about Skyrim because it's about time, like we're talking 6 years. But with this Fallout 76 thing, I mean, presumably they have more teams than that, but they're also working on another new IP. So I don't know.
Well, and also the Fallout thing, from what somebody said, it looked like it was built off the Fallout 4 engine. So
I hope not. That engine is old and creaky.
yeah,
they need
it
a new
is. It's
one.
old and creaking, but I mean,
What you got?
it's what you got. And
I'd like to see
you know.
some cyberpunk. What is it called? Crap. The new game from the folks that did The Witcher.
Sure. I don't know this one.
Yeah, no, it's coming. I just don't remember what it's called.
This is what happens when we don't prep for these questions.
Right? Holy cow.
I honestly have no personal
I
predictions
I
for E3.
thought about it, but I don't.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, okay. I've not.
Like, I don't know what like, for example, when, not that Nintendo's going to do anything big, but like when we made the
Metroid.
prediction about like the new Super Smash Bros, like they already kind of like teased that. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any games out
Yeah.
there that I'm thinking about that are
I think the
going
thing is
kind of pop out of the woodwork.
E3 is one of those things too that you kind of make two choices in your life. Either you hang on every single E3 spoiler and you follow those threads and you're all over, Reddit and whatever looking at E3 spoilers, or you just wait for E3 to happen and be surprised and amazed. And I'm way more to the second. Like I like to think about what might be coming out, but
I like being surprised. I like being like, what? There's a Spider-Man game? This looks amazing.
Yeah.
Instead of going, where's my Spider-Man game that I thought you were
Exactly.
talking about? And then when they don't talk about it.
Yeah. So
I think we're probably going to hear a lot more, obviously, about the Nintendo Online service.
Yep.
And I'd like to think they're going to not just tell us more about the online service itself, but explain to us what's, instead of a virtual console, what's going to be happening
How
in
we're
that
gonna
particular
get games.
space.
Yeah.
Because that's without a virtual console. Not that it's the end of the world, because there's the eShop. There's plenty of stuff on the eShop. But for that particular audience that is there literally just to play the old retro games or the games that are ported or whatever, that particular thing.
I would love for Microsoft to make an announcement that there's going to be some sort of Bluetooth add-on for that console. I don't know where you'd
Because
stick
you can't
it.
Bluetooth anything to it?
No, that's why you have to have the dumb squid adapter.
Oh, you said Xbox. You mean Nintendo.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's why I was like, you can't Bluetooth?
It,
to
also,
the
you
thing?
can't Bluetooth to your Xbox, but that's a lesser problem.
You can't Bluetooth to the new ones?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought they changed that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess the controllers are Bluetooth now, so maybe. I don't know.
Because they have a
But
proprietary connection on the
just
first.
maybe just the controllers.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, I would love to find out that like you can plug some sort of adapter into like one of the USB ports on the Switch, and all of a sudden it would be able to talk to it instead of having to have
Well,
a
I
phone
want to say
and
that I know that
Nintendo Switch 2 now with Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Right?
That unfortunately
Must be
that's a thing. So
well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
sorry. Yeah, well, I'm very much the second type of person where it's like I don't
Same.
really have any predictions. I just want to see what they. I'm
so
excited to see what they give me.
Same.
So.
Same.
All right, thank you, Vinny. Up next, Joe Coleslaw. What?
New Banjo-Kazooie. Calling it now.
Okay.
Who's going to do it?
I don't know.
Although
Sure, somebody.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's my prediction.
So what I will say is that Rare last week or the week before did say they would be open to licensing their old IPs to other companies to build new games. So like a new Banjo-Kazooie not made by Rare is a possibility.
Could be a thing.
I also want Activision to re-up with Tony Hawk and make a new Pro Skater game.
It will never happen with Activision, I don't think, but I would love a new Tony Hawk game.
But the problem is Activision owns the thing, and Tony Hawk's not a part of it anymore. So it's kind of in limbo.
The folks who make Descenders, the new like downhill mountain biking game, really, 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 really want to make a Tony Hawk game. So
Let them do it.
yeah, that'd be great.
My prediction
Make
is
it happen.
My prediction is we're going to hear about video games.
Video games. I want a
what
new
I think.
Amped game.
A what?
Amped. It was a snowboarding game for the Xbox.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
want a
game.
new Snowboard Kids.
Yeah.
That was my favorite snowboarding game.
Oh, I loved Amped.
I can't wait for the new Bubsy.
Maybe Beat Saber for PSVR.
It already happened.
New Bubsy. I want a newer
stunk
Bubsy.
to high
I want a newer Bubsy.
A better Bubsy.
A better Bubsy.
Beat
That'll
Saber
never
for
happen.
PSVR?
Build
Is
a
it?
better Bubsy.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
that would be great.
E3. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Before we go down that rabbit hole, thank you, Vinny. Joe Coleslaw's question is, how do you feel about nudity and sexual content in today's games versus earlier generations? In today's society, does sex really sell? Or does it put a damper on a specific audience? I know mature is mature, but some people have their limits. I agree.
It's a good
People have
question.
their limits.
And like kind of the context for this too is that he's saying that it wasn't something he really thought about before, but now he's got a family, and so it's something he thinks about more. Personally, I think that the only problem I have with games that have that kind of content in them is that often they're not done well.
Right.
Like I'm 100%. I'm 100% a believer that adult M-rated games should be able to have adult M-rated content in them. I'm not any more or less likely to play a game that has that kind of content. But like I just finished Wolfenstein 2, right? And Wolfenstein 1 actually has quite not Wolfenstein 1, but Wolfenstein, the non-New Colossus, I don't know, actually has quite a bit of nudity in it, and a lot of sex scenes in it. And they always felt kind of weird and out of place, but like whatever. And then the new one really doesn't have much of that. And then right at the end, like you're, I don't know, 30 minutes, 20 minutes from the very end of that game, like your pregnant wife comes in, throws a bunch of grenades at people, and kind of stuff gets blown away, and it like rips her shirt off. And so she's just sitting there naked, and you're like, why? What? Why? That doesn't. It happened, and I was like, why? Why did that happen? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why that makes me giggle.
And but it was very much. It reminded me a lot of like 80s R-rated comedies where all of a sudden like there's just some topless person for no particular reason at all, kind of that Porky's kind of, you know. And I'm like so that like 100% that game would have been
fine,
arguably better without that scene.
Right.
But I didn't care that it was there. And I mean, I think the thing is does it make it so there are games that I will not play when my kid's around? Sure, my kid's 10.
Right.
I was not going to play Wolfenstein when my kid's around. But it wasn't necessarily because, it wasn't necessarily because there was going to be a topless lady on my screen. It was because also, like, BJ Blazkowicz's dad is a crazy Nazi who yells the N-word at you all the time. Like, the hero in that game gets beheaded with a katana. Like, he's okay. It's fine. Spoilers.
Oh my God.
And it's not, and that's not the most gruesome part of that game.
Right.
Like there are horrible, there are games I let my kid play, and those games are probably, like I let my kid play Destiny. That's fine. Yes, people die, but it's not blood spurting all over the place. And I probably allow him to play far more games than a lot of parents do. But You look at the label, you see what it's in it. If you go to the ESRB website, it'll tell you exactly what's in it. It'll tell you what bad words they say. It'll tell you how many instances of sex and nudity. Yeah, they really spell it out. Actually, when we were at that thing the other day, he was talking about, I don't remember what Borderlands 2 has in it, but it was funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's a paragraph for every game that will tell you what is in that game that you may not want your kids to see. And so I know which games I can play with my kids around. And I know which games I can't play with my kids around.
Well, and I think that's what the difference is with games now, is because before you didn't have to worry about that, because the most you were going to get in the 80s and 90s was some sort of person-like looking thing made of pixels and blocks that was very much something that was not a human. It was just meant to be representative.
Exactly.
So you couldn't pull off the types of cinematics and scenes and things then that you can now.
It wasn't much different than a text-based adventure game, and spelling it out.
And I think that would be my only argument at this point in time, is I think that the technology has improved, but I don't think that the representation has necessarily improved to the point where, if you look at game developers, they're 90% dudes.
Yeah.
A huge amount of the people that play them are dudes, and so to some degree, the nudity and sex scenes in games are super tropesy. Yeah. They're super non-representational of how that actually plays out in real life. Right. They're written like 80s.
They're written like
R-rated comedies.
Kid
yeah,
and talking about.
And so, and I think that the indie scene is better at that.
Absolutely.
Like, the indie scene has way more accurate portrayals of sex and sexuality and nudity and all that stuff. The AAA scene has not caught up yet, and that's my only complaint. It's like, I don't care that there's mature content, but man, it would be better if it wasn't just, if I didn't feel like, oh, hey, they put this in so we could go hee 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 hee.
Right.
So.
But if we refer back to our presentation from Andrew Birch, a lot of what he talked about was like, you play through a game, and who cares what happened? You're not going to remember. You're going to remember certain characters and certain big turning points in the game, and maybe how it ends. And I think that why I'm relating that to this is a lot of times they're just a plot point, and sex scenes are generally pretty awkward anyway. How many good sex scenes do you remember in a movie, for example?
No, see, I disagree with that. I think there are a lot of in movies that make a lot of sense and work really well. And I mean, part of it too is like the uncanny valley of video games. But watching Mass Effect characters kiss is the most awkward. Like two dolls.
That was my other point. Is like a movie is a 90-minute story that is woven together in a specific sequence of events, and that's how you experience it. Yep. Games are not.
Yeah.
So, again, there's a sex scene that is placed in the middle of this thing that you're going to experience at some point in time, and it's just going to be there. And like movies, certain video games fall into certain genres, and sex is a part of those genres. Yeah. Crime dramas are going to have sex in them. Yep. Certain... Like, GTA is a game that's going to have sex in it. Like, it's a part of that, and if it's not there, you're like, well,
that was kind of
weird. Do people in this world have sex? Like,
and I agree with that with GTA, but like Franklin's stripper girlfriend, who served no role. I mean, that was all you did. You call her, it was just like this weird booty call mechanic. And I kept doing it because I kept thinking that at some point in time,
you trigger something else.
Something is going to happen.
Right.
I'm like,
to the free clinic is what you're going to trigger.
And it didn't. It just every time you just go to her house and she'd make some sort of risque comment, and you pick her up at the strip club and drive her to her condo. And I'm like, this is going to forward a plot somehow, right? Never.
But then you have to think about the character you're playing, and that character very much would have somebody like that on the call that whenever he wanted it, he could get it.
Yeah.
And see, I think what would make those sex things better is, yes, if they had something else on top of it. However, a lot of it's just world building.
Yeah.
Like, in the GTA world, I want to be able to go into buildings, and if one of them is a strip club, it should be a lively strip club, and it adds to the atmosphere of the world that you're in. And if it's not there, it's like, why? I'm an adult. Why can't I go into the strip club?
Yeah.
That's weird. That takes me out of the experience.
Right. Well, I think, to me, what I want is in Mass Effect, where you can literally go at it with every single person on your ship. I want there to be consequences to that. I want people to get pissed off if I'm sleeping with her and her.
Right.
Like that should be a plot point.
They shouldn't be throwaway segments.
Yeah.
I mean, just like anything else.
Yep.
Right.
It should affect somehow the overall story.
Right. So I think that's
So in the case of Wolfenstein, when you're just ripping your shirt off and going in like guns blazing, it's
I'm like,
that's
this makes
weird.
no sense.
Unless that person's absolutely crazy and what you would think would do that, then cool. But if it doesn't make sense in the context of what's going on,
And I think literally it was actually she threw out a bunch of grenades, and I think the like explosion was supposed to have blown. I don't know. It happened so fast. I was just like, what happened? Why?
Now I want to play the
need
game.
to see the scene.
So, and that's the
Well,
thing.
she's like
the thing
8
is,
months pregnant in this too.
the thing is, you
I
just
need
sold
to
me
see
on the
this.
game. I wasn't going to play it before. Now I'm going to play
I know,
it.
now I'm
So
like, I
is
need to
it
see
right
this.
then? Was it serves the
You
greater
should play
good?
that game because it's just so good, and you get to kick Hitler in
But
the
that's
face.
one of those games where it's a gonzo kind of
Yeah.
balls to the wall
Right.
game, and that's what you expect from movies like that.
I mean,
like if you think of
except-
like the 80s and 90s hardcore bro action movies, it's literally
It's gonzo,
booms,
like-
boobs, bombs, and
The
and
difference is, though,
explosions. Yeah.
is Wolfenstein 2 isn't that game. Like, it's
Right.
still the super explosive whatever, but it's actually like the entire plot of Wolfenstein 2 is his wife's pregnant now.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's talking about building a family, and a lot of the game he's not sure if he's going to live to see them, and he's not sure his body's all broken after the first game.
After the whole katana thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. And so a lot of it is really about like family and maturing as an individual, and then
But it's all set within this
But
crazy
it's not-
universe where there are Nazis and Nazi dogs and
yeah, but it doesn't make it
things
make
and stuff.
sense though. Is the problem? Like it happened, I'm like, oh, that's weird.
It sounds like the game kind of flirted on the edge because it wasn't
Yeah.
full Duke Nukem. Like
Right,
Duke
right, right.
Nukem, we expect it because it's absolutely
Yeah.
gonzo. Wolfenstein, I think, has flirted with that idea.
And I would almost
it's
say-
not. It's a what is that called?
Wow.
Struggling with the world.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
a certain
so anyway.
word I'm looking for
Yeah.
where it's like a certain surrealism. Like it's
Yeah.
not real life, but it's not like fantasy either.
Yeah.
It's that
historical fiction-y
Yeah,
kind of. And I think the
but-
thing is if it happened in the first act of the game, I might have gone like, oh, okay.
But it was like
by the
right
time you
towards
get to
the
the end, you're like, this is the most. Why? Why did this? I don't even understand.
I mean, if you think about it, if she's wearing a type of garment that is,
She wasn't. She was wearing like a coat.
well, I mean,
And
so
like,
was
I
it
think there was a
zipped and
shirt
buttoned?
under. Yes.
Well, then maybe the power of the explosion was just
just
enough to
don't know.
Just so
I don't
mean,
know. He was
what
there
if the
too. He was
physics
still
engine
wearing a
ripped
shirt.
it off and
Yeah,
he
what if
didn't
it
do it
wasn't
on
meant
purpose?
To, yeah, what if it was meant to happen? Kind of like when was it in GTA 5 or whatever, when like there was like genitalia.
No,
or
that
whatever?
was.
What game was that? Was it a Saints Row game?
I think it's Saints Row. I remember that
where they had
happened,
to
but I
patch
don't remember
that
what
out
game
where
it
you
was.
could actually
yeah.
see
And it wasn't one of those, but yeah, it was
parts.
like one of those.
something like that. yeah, it was
There's
messed
plenty
up.
of parts in
Watch Dogs 2?
GTA.
I think it was Watch Dogs 2.
It was something.
Yeah.
It was something like
Whatever.
that.
Anyway.
So end of it all.
Anything-
Sex scenes can serve a purpose. Sex does very much. Yes, Joe. Sex sells.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if sex didn't sell,
They wouldn't put it in.
It wouldn't be
Yeah.
being used to
But it could be
sell
better.
stuff. It could absolutely be better.
Anything that happens in a game or any story ever should have greater context within what it is in.
Right. It shouldn't be thrown in for nothing. So I
Yep.
think we agree on that. My personal belief, like, on the whole thing is I would much, much rather have, if I had kids or kids that played video games,
Yeah.
and obviously they're of a certain age, I would much rather them be exposed to people having sex than people getting their faces and
yeah.
body parts
Right.
ripped apart and
Yeah.
just blood and gore and guts and killing.
Yep.
I would much rather them see that. Not necessarily 100% comfortable with either.
Yeah.
But if I had,
If you have
gun
to make
my
that
head,
choice, it's an America versus an everywhere else problem,
Yeah.
really.
So
Anyway.
all right. Thank you for that lively discussion, Joe.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, new guy, Jack Irish. How you doing? From Australia.
He's good.
So,
I need to work on my Australian accent now.
Please don't.
g'day. All right. It's
He's
I
real
don't
nice.
even know.
The only problem is he's like, I was talking to him last night about 7:00 our time. I'm like, what time is it even there? Your time? He's like, it's just afternoon. Like tomorrow. There's a 17-hour time difference between
That's
us.
so
So
obnoxious.
I'm like, you live in the future, man.
And now Kevin and I are planning a trip to Australia next year.
Oh,
I
how's tomorrow,
really want to go.
bro?
So what?
How's
Yeah.
tomorrow, bro?
I'll let you
Exactly.
know. I'll call you from the future.
Oh my God.
Wow, I could do
Right?
that.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, Jack Irish. He would like to know what character in the GTA series do you think you represent and why? Since I have literally played maybe 3 hours of GTA my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm going to say coupling it with the last question, I'm going to say the prostitutes are who I represent the most.
Perfect.
Not that I
think
sell
this is
myself for money, but I would.
This is a tricked and loaded question to ask how terrible you are.
Right? I think, and I've only played 5 enough that I actually remember individual characters. I played 3, but it was like, I don't know, 20 years ago, 15, 18 years ago.
I played 3 in San Andreas.
Yeah,
and
I played a bunch of Vice City, but not enough to remember that. I mean, it's just been too long. I think I'm like the nerdy dude in the wheelchair. I don't remember what his name is, but like if I was going to be anyone in that game, like I'm not like one of those. I'm not the criminal that would actually go rob a bank, but I'm the guy who might hack into a computer system to, you know. And I'm kind of nerdy, and like I don't know hacking things, but I know computer things. So I don't remember what his name is, but I think that's who I am. Kind of awkward.
Man, this is hard. I am not a criminal. I'm very.
Are there any NPCs or whatever that you interact with that you'd be like, I'd like to be that guy that doesn't die?
It's hard.
I think Dylan's
there's people I'd like to be.
What about the like sort of good FBI guy? Not his boss, but the like really conflicted FBI dude.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name is either.
I'd probably be that guy. I'd be like, this is my job, so I'm supposed to do it. But
I'm also on the take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good series, and I'm sure if I really, really, really thought about it, that there's probably, or maybe if I played a bunch of GTA, there's probably a better answer. I think the thing I have to think about in that game is that I'm a complete sociopath. Like I turn on that game and I'm like, let's go down to the beach and run people over for a little while. Me and my brother would get like super fast race cars, like the Lamborghini of that game. And there's a boardwalk that runs in front of the beach and it's just people on it. And we just like drive up and down it, killing people until the cops come. And then the cops would chase us while we drove. And it was super fun. And we could do it for hours. So anyway.
I like to think I'm Trevor.
I like to think you're Trevor too.
I don't know, Trevor.
He's a white trash,
obviously
meth-making sociopath.
He's obviously the next level of me, but I understand his life philosophy, and I like to live with that kind of freedom.
All right, yeah.
Okay, well, there's that.
Don't invite him to your house, because I know what Trevor does in people's houses.
Yeah.
I
don't really whip it out often, though.
Oh, my God. All right, Jack, thank you for that, and I'll see you next year. Optimist Prime wants to know, if you 3 were stranded on an island prison and were forced into a fight for survival, who would make it back to Washington alive?
I already told him it would most definitely not be me.
No.
Maybe Dylan?
I'm going to make it.
You're going to make it?
Dylan's probably got better survival skills than either of us.
I've survived.
He camps at least. I don't even camp.
So what I would do is I wouldn't make it back to Washington alive. I would just end up staying there because I would be friends with all of them. I'd be like, yeah, no, screw that guy and screw that guy. They are dicks and I don't like them. You do whatever you want.
Prison's not that bad. 3 hots and a cot, yo.
I'm fine with it. I'm good. And I get to live on an island. There's water everywhere.
That's true. That is true.
Islands suck.
I like islands.
It's like instant cabin fever.
I don't get cabin
Where are you going to go?
How big of an island is it?
Where are you going to go?
Australia's an island.
Yeah.
It's an island prison. It's not a very big island. It's like Alcatraz.
I've been to Alcatraz. I would live there.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I
wish I would change real quick.
I wish I'd been.
Where's your food?
Where's
your food?
They
bring it in.
They've got a cafe and stuff, and you can, you're
cafe.
fine.
But you're escaping.
Actually, no, they don't. You can't even bring food and water on the island.
Oh,
something like that. I don't know.
It's a fight for survival.
Yeah, I'm dead.
And I found the quickest way to survive without actually having to fight. I'm going to be their friend.
What's the line from The Watchmen? You shouldn't worry because I'm trapped in here with you. It's because you're trapped in here with me.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is exactly, but
yeah.
I'll feast on your brain and then swim in your carcass.
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
No, but I'd make it back alive.
Have you ever read or seen Watchmen?
I've seen it.
God,
so good.
Good movie.
The movie was good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to compare it to, but it was
The comic book's real good, too.
Okay.
Graphic novel.
Thank you, Optimist. Man, and if you notice, we're starting to fly through these. We've got things we need to do.
17 minutes.
Like pee.
Right? Mansocks, with the most important question of the week, as always. What's your favorite chain burrito joint? Chipotle, God, I can't talk. Chipotle, Qdoba, Moe's, Baja Fresh, etc. Oh, I love etc. That's my favorite one.
Etc. is delicious.
I can honestly say I've had Chipotle once. It ruined my guts. I've never had it again. Qdoba, I've never been to. Moe's, I don't know what. I think I called it Moses.
Yeah.
I meant Moe's. Baja Fresh, actually, I've been to Baja Fresh. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I also like Taco Time.
Taco Time's real good. I like Taco Time a lot. I like Cafe Rio a lot.
Good.
There's one of those here that's super good. I really like. Oh shoot!
Love that one.
I've lost the name of it. It's one in Utah that's really good. But it's left me. So I guess I would choose Cafe Rio.
Chipotle is pretty good, but we're fighting right now since they removed chorizo from the menu. So I'm never really 100% happy with my experience at Chipotle anymore. Qdoba is pretty good. I had that once. Cafe Rio is pretty good. I had that once. But I think I really enjoy Taco Del Mar. I like their big
Taco
burritos.
Del Mar is good.
For some
Taco
reason,
Del Mar is
like,
great.
that wetter burrito, like it's very fresh tasting. It's kind of cool. Like I can eat that on a hot day and feel really good.
I'm trying to remember the place I went to yesterday. Mucho Burrito?
Mucho Burrito?
Which was really good. Yeah.
I love burritos.
The right answer, though, of course, and it's a little bit outside this domain, but is Alberto's or Beto's, because they have it's a chain in like Utah and Idaho and California, and they have the best breakfast burritos that I've ever eaten in my entire life, and I miss them every day that I'm not near one.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Mansocks. If you have a question for us, you can email us or you can just drop it in our Discord. Yeah.
We'll do that.
Do it.
Just like that.
All right, let's wrap it up with some cheap free games. All the free stuff for your Xbox, Game Pass, Games with Gold, and PlayStation Plus. That has been announced.
It has.
And literally the PlayStation Plus was just announced today.
Like 2 hours ago.
So let's get into it. On Games Pass for June, coming up this month, adding to your library. Next up, Hero.
Yeah, which is fun. I played the beta of that. It's
try
good.
that.
Next up. It's
a little
when you
dungeon
die, you
co-op
can
thinger?
Yeah, but kind of roguelike.
Okay.
When you die, you can resurrect like your dead body to help you fight. It's fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one. Yeah. I remember you talking about that. I want to play that. We also have MotoGP 17.
Yeah, sure.
I'll
It
give
looks
that
like
a
you're
shot.
racing motorcycles.
Mega Man Legacy Collection 2.
Which has...
Didn't this just come out?
I think so. I don't know. It's
Maybe not.
It's Mega Man 7,
Mega Man.
8, 9, 10. I don't know. Bunch of late stage Mega Man games. Probably good.
Yeah.
I haven't played a Mega Man game
I'm
in
into
forever.
it.
So
Also, the Technomancer, which that sounds like
I don't know anything
a
about that.
vampire rave kid. That's what I keep thinking. So it's an action RPG set in a cyberpunk planet during the War of Water, because, the world's most famous war.
Yep.
Wasteland 2 Director's Cut. That is
supposed to be pretty
coming.
good.
I will check that out.
Yep.
Disneyland Adventures. I know you're about that.
I have bought that game twice, and I liked it a lot.
And now it's free.
If you want to see, which sucks. I bought it when my Xbox One X came out, but whatever. If you want, it's gorgeous in 4K. If you've got a 1X, if you want to remember what Disneyland looked like about 8 years ago, it's really fun. It was originally a Kinect game, and it was hot garbage, but it works really well now with a controller. So you can wander around Disneyland, and like all the rides are like little mini games you play. So
Interesting.
It's fun.
Cool. All right, on to Games with Gold this month. Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, June 1st through the 30th on the Xbox One. That's part of that side-scrolling trilogy.
Yep, which are fun.
I didn't realize those were side-scrollers.
Yeah, I played India or China. They're fun.
There's China, India, and Russia. So this is now for your Games with Gold, 1st to the 30th. Smite Gold Bundle is coming on June 16th to July 15th.
Yeah, and that game, I don't understand what this is. It must have a bunch of crap in it because Smite's free to play. So
it's a MOBA.
You must
So
get a bunch of
you probably
stuff in
unlock
it.
a bunch of champions.
Yeah, I hear it's good.
Stuff like
It's
that.
normally $100. So
I'm super excited for Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Ooh.
Not really.
seeing a lot of people are saying that's actually really good.
Oh, is
so
it?
I don't know.
Eat your words.
Yeah, that's going to be available for the first half of June. Last half of June, Lego Indiana Jones 2, The New Adventures.
Which is good.
Okay.
I enjoyed that one a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then over on the Sony side of life, PlayStation Plus this month, it's going to be available on Tuesday the 5th. You got XCOM 2.
Which is supposed to be great. This whole list is like Xbox 6 months ago. So
Yeah. XCOM's 2 Trials Fusion, which is
Awesome.
another one of the
Love it.
downhill bikey gaming
It's
things.
it's not even
not downhill, but
it's super tricky. It's great. I love Trials. Get that game.
If you're still rocking that PS3, well, good for you. Zombie Driver HD and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
Future Soldier.
And Zombie Driver HD, you need to put your age in to watch the trailer. Look at that. It's normally $10. Okay.
Ay.
I'll check that out. Maybe. I've got my Vita. Actually, no, I won't check Zombie Driver because I don't have my PS3 yet.
Oh.
On your PS Vita, Atomic Ninjas and Squares.
Don't know anything about those, but I like the idea of nuclear-powered ninjas.
I like that. Yeah. That sounds good. It's good. So Atomic Ninja is a little action platformer. It's multiplayer, so that's cool.
Right.
And then Squares is... Well, there's a bunch of blocks.
I'm shocked.
Shocking.
Squares, you say?
Squares, you
Shocking.
saying? It's not circles? Okay. All right, that's it. You guys got to go because you've got to do a photo shoot. Take pictures with your fancy cameras.
Get some glam shots. Yeah.
We're not taking pictures of ourselves. Just for.
I will be.
Some boudoir glamour shots with that 80s Aquanet hair.
I rented $135 worth of gear to take boudoir pictures of Dylan.
Those would sell.
You might not make that $135
I'm
back.
not going to make that
really
back.
Sorry.
No.
Oh, I know some people that buy them.
Speaking of which, your wife posted a very funny GIF, which was why I made a weird face like 5 minutes ago, because the GIF that I saw, I went, what? It's real funny. I really like it.
That's all.
All right, that's it.
That's all, folks.
Get out of here. Find us online, bitemepodcast.com, BYTE podcast.com, /humble if you would like to support Humble Bundles charities and us at the same time. We're an official partner, so do that. Find us on Discord. We've got a bunch of channels. You can ask us questions there. Facebook, Twitter, places and stuff and things at Bite Me Podcast.
Perfect.
Okay.
There's an Arma bundle on Humble Bundle right now.
What's Arma?
America's Army. So if
sweet.
you really just want to go out and support like the military-industrial complex, go buy that bundle.
Yeah.
Good.
Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
I have to pee.
Screwed up my entire week, so.
Right? Me too.
Yeah.
But,
And that's all.